Welcome to the Ducati booth, everybody. Nice to see so many of you here this year. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Michael Locke from Ducati North America, and we're very proud to be at the show this year with a brand new booth. We have a motorcycle under the cloth here to unveil to you. Many of you members of the press will know what the bike is. I don't think there are any great surprises that this is the new US launch for the Multistrada 1200. The conception of this motorcycle was to bring everything we know, all the technology, all the performance, everything we've learned on the racetrack, but bring it to a real street package. It really is the adventure tourer equivalent of our superbike. In fact, in technology terms, it's the next generation to the superbike. What we haven't done in R&D is taken a bunch of race engineers and said to them, think like a touring guy, because they're not touring guys. What we've said is to these race engineers, make a motorcycle that you would love to ride on the road. Not a track bike, a bike you would love to ride on the road, and throw everything at it. So, without too much further ado, would you like to see the bike? You'd like to see the bike? Ladies, go ahead. Okay, so this is the new Ducati Multistrada 1200. It's a brand new motorcycle from the ground up, and it's bristling with technology. What we have done with this bike is we've brought everything we know from the racetrack and adapted it for use on the street. So let me show you some of the highlights of the bike. Down here we've got Brembo radial caliper brakes with huge discs. I think these are 320mm discs. A setup would not be disgraced on a superbike. So radial calipers with new fork leg lowers. This particular version of the bike, the Multistrada 1200S Sport, as you can see, features Öhlins suspension, their trademark gold fork legs. But what's new about this suspension, you will see that the fork leg tops actually have an electronic attachment. These are electronically adjustable forks, either manually or in the different riding modes. There are 4 riding modes of this bike: sport, touring, urban and enduro. And with the handlebar controls and the dashboard, you can toggle between the different riding modes, and it actually adjusts the suspension to be stiffer, to be more progressive, to be softer, depending on the riding mode. So this is a first, not only for Ducati motorcycles, but Öhlins electronic suspension. It's a first for any motorcycle on the road. The dashboard itself is a very neat and compact design. It's off at the moment, so I can't show you all the toys, but it's a very compact, intelligent unit. And this is really an evolution from what we've been putting on the superbikes and the Street Fighter for the last couple of years. Very small, very lightweight, but high performance. Coming further back, we've got a very large gas tank on this bike. It's an adventure tourer. It's designed to be used for long distances. The gas tank extends underneath the seat here, the moulding. You should be able to expect, certainly in touring mode, well in excess of 200, probably closer to 250 mile range between gas stops, which is industry standard. Brand new seat, 2-piece seat on this motorcycle, and sport tourers have really a very high set of demanding standards. This seat has to be compliant and soft enough that you can sit in the saddle for 8, 10 or 12 hours in the day if you want to, but at the same time, because this is a Ducati, as soon as the canyons appear on the horizon, you want to be hanging off the seat, and you want to be able to have performance features of the seat that give you that confidence as well. You can see here the molded rear rack. This is the sport version of the bike. There is another version of the bike called the Tourer. That will come with integrated luggage, which clips on either side here. Large size pannier boxes that will accommodate a full-size helmet and all touring equipment. And in addition, in the accessories catalogue, you'll be able to buy a fully coordinated in colour and design top box to sit behind the passenger as well. So we've thought about the touring. Many sport touring customers will ask as well about weather protection and windshields. Do I have to change this nice pretty little windshield if I actually want to keep the rain off me? No, The answer is you don't, because this is an adjustable windshield. You can see here we've got adjustment to be able to pull the shield up by around 50 millimeters, which makes a dramatic difference at high speed and in inclement weather to the protection you will get. Other highlights of this motorcycle really center around the engine. This is the culmination of decades worth of R&D and racing technology. Why? Because this is based on the 1198 Superbike engine. This is not derived from a street bike, this is derived from a superbike which has won the World Championship more times than all the other manufacturers put together. In the Multistrada form, it's an 1198. It has what we're calling now a new 11-degree engine. Now, what do we mean by 11 degrees? We don't mean that it's 11 degrees between the V. What we mean is it's 11 degrees of crossover in the cylinder head between exhaust and inlet valves, with cam timing that means that this motorcycle's engine for a Ducati L Twin is remarkably smooth at low RPM. Again, another key requirement for sport touring riders. In peak horsepower mode, 150 horsepower. In wet or in enduro mode, 100 horsepower with changed torque characteristics to match. So with this motorcycle, you really do get 4 distinctly different personalities that you can dial in on when you ride this bike. It's not just a question of limiting power or raising power. You adjust the motorcycle's responses to ABS, to traction control, to torque curve and power, and suspension settings at the toggle of a switch. So really you're looking at the beginning of a new generation of intelligent motorcycles that are much more adaptable to what people want. In here, the Öhlins shock is not just a yellow springed Öhlins shock. The technology we will be using in the sport and touring version is using Öhlins TTX technology, which is the latest, greatest suspension technology for rear shocks, and normally reserved just for the superbike. So this is a big advantage for this motorcycle. The shock bolts into the rear swing arm, and as you can see, the swing arm could hold up a bridge. This is an enormous fabrication. It's hollowed, it's very lightweight. It is related to the technology we use on the superbike swing arms, and what it does is it not only gives you a pleasing aesthetic, but if you come around the other side of the bike, you'll find that what it does is it gives you this dish effect on the other side of the wheel and a single nut to remove the wheel while all of the suspension and brake stays on one side, so you have a clean exit and entry on the bike. We have a brand new exhaust system on this bike as well, 2 shorty mufflers down here, as far out of the way as we could get them so as to not interfere with the pannier bags substantially, and a large muffler reservoir tucked away here where A, you don't see it, which is always good, and B, has been designed very cleverly not to compromise ground clearance at all. And the final thing I'll tell you about this motorcycle, which you will see on this sport version, is that it is bristling from front to rear with carbon fiber. And this is carbon fiber from the same suppliers we use for our race bikes. So lightweight, beautiful finish quality, elegant and stylish. And if you come to the front, you will see that the intake of the motorcycle, and by the way, this is a working intake. This force feeds air through these takes to boost the cooling capacity of the radiator and the oil cooler, but also to force feed into the airbox as well to give you that tremendous Ducati intake roar. So all round, this is a major statement for us going into the next 2 or 3 years.